The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked occasion in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, well, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
Welcome to the Covert Narcissism podcast. I'm your host, Renee Swanson. I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. If you're trying to heal from covert narcissistic abuse while still feeling unsure about your next steps, please know that you are not alone. This episode will meet you right where you are. In this part 2 of the CNG Community Chat, we talk about the deeper layers of living with or leaving a covert narcissist. This includes guilt, responsibility, and the impact on the children. We also explore how survivors can begin to reclaim their sense of self through boundaries, planning, and emotional clarity. If you are navigating the effects of covert narcissistic abuse in your relationship and wondering how in the world do I move forward without rushing this decision, this conversation offers grounded insight and support. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's pick up where we left off last week.
It's the guilt. I know it couldn't have been different. It was the way it was, and I can't change it, but it's still painful, you know?
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Dee Dee if, because of that pain and how painful that is, could you ever invite a reframe around guilt? Because guilt is when we've done something. So, like, if you nicked like 20 quid from me, like, and went shopping and bought a new pair of shoes, that's guilt. We have to have it. It's part of our ancient brain. Because if they nicked like yeast and like one camp had like 50 loaves and the other one had 20, like, you'd know. Whereas I feel like so much of what I have and so much of a lot of what I'm hearing is it's tension. So it's so much tension around what you both lived with, what she lived with, couldn't stay nearby, however much she wanted to or didn't want to, I don't know, because of that. And so then that takes you out of the equation because you haven't done anything wrong. So guilt implies blame. Whereas tension is like a rub. It's like a, you know, when you, I don't know if it's someone who knows physics might know what I'm talking about, but like
Friction.
Thank you. Friction. Yeah. And so like that, and in that's real, like you feel that viscerally and you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your gut, you know, gut health, you know, plays a massive part in that tension. But guilt just takes you off this awful pedestal that you've, like awful, like cross you put yourself on that, you know, that you did this to her, you know, there was two people.
It's more that I allowed it to happen.
but then that again,
that's the guilt I feel. I knew what he was doing and still continues to do is wrong, and I allowed it, sort of. And
Sort
that's
of.
where I beat myself up.
I understand that, and Dee Dee, I
Mhm.
can relate to that very well. And Jennifer, you were speaking to a very good point here, and I also had to kind of deal with that guilt of watching my boys go through this and watching them, suffer and struggle. And some of the struggles they have today as young adults is because of the
Mhm.
environment that they were in. And I allowed it, and like to challenge that phrase. I Your husband, my husband, Jennifer's husband, they're full-grown men. They're
Yes.
full-grown men, and they're responsible for their behavior.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, if I decide it was my job to control them or contain them or anything like that, um, that's not a relationship. That's a
Mhm.
parent-child dynamic.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
the fact that you did not mother your husband, I mean, I know a lot of us did end up mothering them because we end up in those
Mhm.
roles with them. But the fact that you did not raise your husband, to help him to be a better parent or a better spouse or whatever, just you can't blame yourself for that because you married a
Mhm.
man, not a child. Okay, we didn't know that they were an
Mhm.
emotional child or whatever
Mhm.
you want to call that. But I do think that that where we start saying I allowed it, I think
Mhm.
instead it becomes they caused it. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't our role to try to protect our child from our spouse, from their parent.
Mhm.
Like that's not a
Yeah.
role anybody should have to play, is what I'm
Mhm.
trying to say. And the feelings that
Mhm.
are bad, I get it. I mean, the feelings that we have about it are anger. Absolutely. There are things in life worth being angry about. This is one of them. Pain, care for your child. You care about what she's gone through and the impact it's
Mhm.
had on her. But I think a lot of times those bad feelings get labeled as guilt. And
Yeah.
guilt, the question is, what did you do that was wrong? You fought for a marriage to stay together. You fought for a home to stay together. You
Mhm.
tried to make the most of a situation that you believed in. I would never fault somebody for that.
No.
Yeah.
No, not when you hear it put that way. No.
But I get it. A lot of people do use the word guilt in all of this, and
Mhm.
I like the reframe, Jennifer, you were going there with it, of it's
Mhm.
bad feelings, yes, but I don't think guilt is the right label.
No. It's I don't know. I guess it's because I was the parent of everyone in the household, including him,
Well,
that
fair.
I felt like,
Yeah.
you
But in
know?
reality, you were one of
Mhm.
2 parents,
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt
you
like
were
I was his parent
of
from the
course,
beginning,
yeah,
very, very beginning.
and
And
that's not
that was part
fair.
of my
That's
yeah, that was part of my job that I assumed coming from the generation that I came from, probably, that we took care of our husbands no
Mhm,
matter what they were like.
absolutely. I think it sounds like
Mhm.
you were raised to fulfill that role, and I was
It
too.
ap
Like, I can relate to that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is. You can't. I understand that now. It's one of those things where I see things occasionally on social media about what would you do? Would you do the same thing again? Would you marry the same person again? And God, no. No.
No.
Everyone is like, well, everybody has a part in it. Well,
Mhm.
my part was survival. That's what I felt like.
Yeah,
That I've been just trying to survive
yeah,
and I'm tired of surviving. I want to start living.
yeah. Good, good, and I want that for you as well.
Mhm.
And when you think back about, if you lived with an alligator and your role was to make that alligator be nice and you fail at that,
Mhm.
that's not your fault.
No, it's their character.
Mhm.
Nothing we can do. But you asked me earlier about when I figured out the narcissism part of it. That wasn't until the last 5 years. And
Okay.
I have been doing what you did. I dove into everything I could research.
Mhm.
And I just found your podcast recently.
Okay.
And it's the one that hits the home the most for me.
Okay.
As far as being able to relate to what you say, it's like you read our minds, what we have been dealing with. And
I
I think
hear
it's
that a
because
lot.
you lived it.
It's like they all played from the same playbook.
It is. I've said it to many, I belong to online support groups, and I've said it to many people as like they are from another planet. They're a different species. They are so similar.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down a checklist and just check them right off. I don't understand how it happens. They all have different backgrounds. They grow up in different areas. I don't understand how it happens that they are so similar.
They are. It's like they took a class on it or something.
Well, they did. They're experts. They must have got a degree.
So, Jennifer, before you made the decision to leave, how difficult was it to make that decision to leave?
I want to hear that.
Oh, Renee, it was just, I kept coming back to this phrase of like, how, we have this phrases like, you can't rock the boat. You can't, you can't rock the boat. You can't leave. I had all these weird, weird kind of thoughts of what family would say, like close, like my parents or like siblings or whatever. And I don't think I went ever down a rabbit hole, but I'd say post meeting our third child, and that's another thing. So everyone's like, you had 3 children with him and you must have loved him so much, and and it's like so weird. It's so weird that it's framed as that, because I just remember a nervous system on fire, like just to keep up. And I think I went down after therapy. I then would get a podcast about, a woman, and she, had an awful marriage, and then she stayed, and then she changed him, or he changed, and he went to therapy. So I'd spend this like, hour after therapy kind of dozing because I was so exhausted, listening to these podcasts of, externally wanting someone else to make that decision for me. Or, wanting my mum to see it, or my dad to say leave, or, but never voicing it, because I'm a recovering people pleaser. So it took years. And I think I came to the conclusion during those very poorly years when he was so, what did I use earlier? Resentful. Of me not pulling my weight because I couldn't walk, because I felt sick and my photophobia was really bad, that it wasn't about rocking the boat, because it had already capsized like years ago. And there is a definite level of neurodiversity in him. He is certainly autistic, with the same profile as our eldest, which is PDA, which is pathological demand avoidance, but I prefer persistent drive for autonomy, which means much like a hay fever sufferer, when they get the hay fever, like all the pollen, they can't control it. So for an autistic brain, any demand, so get your shoes on, get ready for school, get out of bed, do your teeth, have some breakfast, you get in the car, is anxiety producing. So he definitely has that, as well as this extra essence. And yeah, it was this capsized, and then it was going into 2024, and he was stalling everything. He stalled absolutely everything. And it was like a lighthouse. I'd see the behaviours, I'd see the passive aggressive behaviours, I'd see the parent alienation, which still persists today. So it's my weekend with our children, but it has been a horrendous year, and how they talk to me can only come from one source. But I am insistently told that I'm the safe parent, which I find very, very hard because it sucks. And I'm constantly told I shouldn't compare, which I don't. And constantly told I can't know what he's doing when he's with them, and they're his kids, which I understand. But I know that they're completely neglected, and that ruins me. And that lacks a certain amount of peace of mind that I can't quite get at 10, 8, and 6. And I strongly rile against, if that's the right word. But they're so resilient. Our kids are so resilient. Sorry, I think that's just what we say to ourselves as grown-ups to make ourselves feel better.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, they have, especially our eldest. No, she's lived in this environment for her whole life. And he was incredibly different with our youngest, who's a boy. And he favours our centre one because she's like a little pixie. And her big sister knows it. And it's just horrible. And yeah, it's there was a massive pause. It felt like a ton of bricks.
Of course. Of
To
course.
go.
I think it's the hardest. I mean, I'm confident it's the hardest decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah, I would
walk away.
second that. I would like 1000% second that.
Yeah. And regarding the kids, whether you stay or leave, the kids, that's still their parent. It's still their parent. And let's say, I would have left when the kids were young, or Dee Dee, if you'd have left when your daughter was young. The impact of the parent and
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA's heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Carvana's so easy, just a click, and we've got ourselves a car. See?
So many cars. That's a click-tastic inventory.
And check out the financing options. Payments to fit our budget. I mean, that's
Clickonomics 101.
delivery to our door.
Just a hop, skip, and a click away.
And what?
No better feeling than when everything just
Clicks.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
the environment would still have been there. So whether you stay or leave, you are either co-parenting with a covert narcissist in a home where you're still together, or you're doing it in two separate homes where you're apart. It doesn't really matter in that regard. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, I would like to sort of counteract so I don't believe we ever co-parented when we were together.
It's counter-parenting is what I've called it for years.
Yes. So parallel was never going to work. And then my sister found how to counter-parent with a toxic, essentially a covert, vulnerable narcissist. And then the book, because so often the children will say stuff, and it'd be sort of minor, maybe, or bigger. Like last year, my centre one, I can't do it anymore. I don't have Daddy on Bluetooth in the car. I can't do it because it's ended up him putting the phone down on them, and it's my fault.
Have there been moments on this journey where pausing has actually brought you clarity, where not trying to move too fast through all of this has actually helped? Dee Dee, I'm going to start with you.
Yes. that's how I've survived all these years. I'm the sort of person that goes into, I'm cerebral, very much so, and wouldn't do anything on an impulse. I learned from, a family of origin, because that's all they did was act on impulse, that's not a healthy way to be. So I pretty much think I was born an adult, and parented most everyone that was in my life. So I had to be the rational one. I still have to be the rational one. So in order for me to cope with this and what I'm going to do and what I'm willing to give up as a result, I have to have all my ducks in a row, for lack of a better term. I cannot act on impulse. He is the one who is volatile and will throw a tantrum and leave the home. I'm not the one who's going to do that.
Okay.
I will remove myself from the situation, but he leaves. So I feel like I'm doing the right thing in my soul, that I'm handling it the way I'm handling it, because retribution will be real, and it will be swift, and it will be vicious, because I know this person extremely well. Everything's fine if it's going his way, but if it's not, you will pay.
Right.
One way or the other. And what I'm doing is planning, and I'm feeling peace from that planning, that I have options if it comes to that, but I'm not going to volunteer it. We have no-fault situations here in the state in which I live. It doesn't matter what they did or how they did it or what happened. There are no marks, when it's narcissistic and not regular
physical.
domestic violence.
Right.
So you basically, what's your problem? Is the kind of attitude I've gotten when I've asked for help, like from law enforcement or whatever else. So I've learned to rely on myself and seek support where I can, and that gives me a sense of power, that I now have part of the ducks in a row.
Good.
The feeling of helplessness is the worst thing. That's how I lived most of my life. But I don't have that feeling of helplessness anymore, because he doesn't control everything anymore.
I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah, it took a while to get here, and the peace and the serenity that you have to have within yourself to cope with it. I get it hard. I'm hard on myself a lot, but I realized how strong I've had to be to survive in what I've survived in for as long as I have.
Absolutely.
So I pat myself on the back.
Good. It is not weak people who are sought out by covert narcissistic people. It is people who are givers, who have a lot of emotional strength in them, who will carry the relationship through thick and thin. I mean, it's a lot of the people that I work with, they are incredibly strong individuals, emotionally strong individuals. And
You gotta be. They're not there for you.
Well, I think, I don't know, it's not like we wear it like some kind of neon sign, but it's like that.
Yeah, I think we do.
But we must do. We must do. And I think I was sort of cheerleading for you just then when you said that you were so proud of yourself, and I have a draft excluder with ducks, and they are in a row, Dee Dee. Like I have this beautiful.
That's cute.
And I think there's a lot of beauty in that planning, because you are crossing all the dotting I's, crossing all the T's. Like whatever list you're following. For me, can I name a book, Renee? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so the incredible Zoe Desmond, who is a British writer, she wrote How to Be a Happy Single Parent. And when I got that book from the library, I covered it in brown paper, and I used to sit with the kids watching cartoons, and I would literally, she called it the list, and it was the list that you needed to sort your life out.
Wow.
As going forward.
Yeah, you need that type of resource through all of this. You need that help. You need that direction. I got up every day and just did the next right thing. One thing. Give me one thing today that is the next right step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like I feel like that I don't know, that last piece that you just said, like, exudes that list. Like you've got it. You're getting all your, the plethora of complicated stuff sorted. Mm-hmm.
It is. There's a lot. It's overwhelming, especially as long as I've been in this relationship. It's overwhelming. You have to
Absolutely.
take one step at a time, or you'll be discouraged really
Absolutely.
fast.
And I think saying it out loud, I think I've read something recently, so I praise you for that. Like massively like hugely praising you for doing that bit, because there's some sort of I think you did use the term soul. There's something very special happens in your soul when you start doing that work. Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. I have really enjoyed this chat with you, and I truly believe this is going to be of value to so many people listening. And before we close off of here, I just want to say, I want to give you the opportunity to voice to my audience what is maybe one thing you wish somebody had said to you on this journey while you're trying to figure it out, trying to get your eyes open, and you're kind of still there now, in your own two different places on this. But what words do you have for those that are listening, that are still trying to sort this out?
I feel that you need to put yourself first and decide what you can do safely and that you feel good about to extricate from the situation, and don't feel pressured by everyone saying, well, why aren't you gone yet? Why haven't you left? Why aren't you doing what you're doing? When they don't really even care of the reasons why you haven't. If you haven't lived it, you don't know it.
Yeah. And you can't understand. You
cannot
possibly understand.
No.
Yeah.
So I would definitely second that, Renee and Didi. I would second that. And as you both sort of said, you can't understand it. I have a sticker. It's not stuck up, but it's on the mirror in the hall, and it says, "Don't let anyone who hasn't been in your shoes tell you how to tie your laces."
Yeah, that's good advice.
And I think I'd
like
want to, first off, I think as you sort of introduced it, you said to your audience, and I think that I think I just offer them a hug, a massive, massive hug. I think this is
awesome.
So scary, and what I'm reading at the moment, and it's so invisible. And I talk about it like paper cuts. They're like paper cuts. They're like thousands and thousands of paper cuts. I always have to caveat that it was never physical. And I don't think I will ever not caveat that, because I feel I have to. But it's like these paper cuts are all on me, and these wounds are open, and there's one person that did that.
Yeah.
And now
the wounds never get to heal. They never get to heal because there's never any reconciliation or closure.
And there's salt everywhere. And I, I don't want to sound trite, and it's not, and I don't, and also I have a really big thing because I adore Dr. Susan David, but I hope it's her. I hope I've named her correctly. But the any sort of toxic positivity, any support that is near you, and they are trying to tell you that it doesn't matter because it's sunny outside, that's not support. Like, the toxic positive. If you cannot tell somebody that something's really uncomfortable and they can just hear it and sit with you and agree with you, and doesn't try to force something else out of you, or say, oh, well, at least, you're going to have some annual leave soon, or whatever, I don't know, something innocuous, then no, like they're not, and people will fade away. That's another thing that I've also found. People will leave, friends, I mean, and whether, I think that's the passage of time. I didn't know if at some point I thought it was because they believed divorce was catching. I didn't.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's not. It's okay.
So it's like,
It's
oh God, they're not
contagious.
hang around you. Like you're getting divorced. So yeah, I think toxic positivity, be really wary of. You need those people who, don't just call in bad names, but just
are actually supportive.
just
Supportive. See you and hear you and
yes.
yes.
And don't just call him all the bad names under the sun. Yes, that's really, really helpful, but actually it doesn't help practically, because so much of this is practical. So much of this is
When it goes so much deeper than just calling somebody bad names.
Yeah,
That's
it's
superficial.
just,
Yeah.
it's so superficial, and it's that, and it's that huge hug I'd give all of them if I could, because this is really, really hard, and I'd like to give you both a hug. Thank you very much.
Well, the hug's right back to you. And thank you again so much for being here. I will tell you right now, and I tell everybody listening, it is never too late to pursue peace in your life. Okay? That is never something that should be negotiable. It is never something that should have to be defended. That it is okay to pursue peace in your life. It is not selfish. It is self-care. And there is a huge difference. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening today to the CNG Community Chat. This conversation is a powerful reminder that not everything has to be decided all at once. In fact, that's overwhelming. Sometimes healing begins when you simply stop forcing yourself into an answer and take a pause. Start listening to what you need in order to feel safe, steady, and clear. Whether you are staying or leaving or still trying to understand what is happening, you are allowed to move at a pace that honors your reality, your feelings, your thoughts, your perceptions. It is never too late to pursue peace, and it is never selfish to care for yourself. If you would like to join us in future community chats, I invite you to please do so. Go to my website at covertnarcissism.com, find the topic that truly resonates with you, and join us for these very important discussions. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. If there were ever an audience that I wish did not have to exist, it would be this one, because of what it means you've lived through. I'm truly sorry that you understand this so deeply, and I'm really glad that you're here. May this be a place of safety, clarity, and peace. You are not alone anymore, and you don't have to figure this out by yourself. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe so you don't miss future conversations. And if you'd like to learn more about the support, resources, or coaching that is available for you, you can visit covertnarcissism.com. While I hate it for everyone who understands what I am talking about, I'm really glad that you're here, and I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those that she has worked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or support a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and the information provided. Thank you.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, well, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
The sun's shining, birds are singing, and all feels right in the world.
Until the season changes, and suddenly you lose your motivation to get out of bed. In fact, 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the season or time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all, because we want you to live your best life and be your best you all year round.
Please visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.